A mix between not having anything to do during lockdown, having things to do but not wanting to do them, and not knowing what to do with myself for the 13 or so hours that I'm awake each day, drove me to start a Minecraft hardcore series, which almost certainly won't make it past episode 4, but it'll keep me sane and allow me to feel some kind of positive emotion by being productive. Having loaded the world, I was immediately overcome by an urge to fist trees. This was followed by staggering through the inventory and crafting menus with next to no idea of how to craft efficiently. Having crafted a wooden pickaxe to the sound of leaves breaking around me, I began to survey the spawn area holding a mushroom. I then heard a spider about half a mile away from me and immediately turned and ran in the opposite direction. Look, we don't want to take chances, it's hardcore, okay? While digging to find some stone, I came across a band of coal. How convenient. After hitting lumps of coal with a sharp wooden stick, I decided to enthusiastically punch dirt to level an area for my first house. I identified the strategic advantage of the high ground, which coincidentally isn't particularly high, but the thought was there. Then in a moment of primal rage, I set upon an innocent sheep and a chicken in the vicinity to collect food and wool for a bed. Whilst seriously questioning if I or my PC are supposed to be taking any medication, I began to lay out my first house. Wanting a natural and cosy feel, I decided to build it out of the very ground I dug up to accommodate it. With barely enough room to breathe, it makes it the ideal property for midget vegans. A few moments later, I was back on the hunt for food with my heat-seeking pickaxe, which had locked onto a pack of pigs. Now, securing a reasonable amount of good food at the beginning is important, while we set up a more permanent solution rather than massacring the local population of those who were here before me. Now, as an established executioner, I returned to my hut to put the finishing touches on it, namely walls, a roof, and a door, before putting my crafting table and bed inside and digging down to collect more stone. Sweating more with every block, hoping not to come across a spider or zombie that I could hear, knowing that my heat-seeking pickaxe likely wouldn't be as effective a weapon against them as it was against the wildlife. With my rocks in hand, I came up, looked to see the time of day before putting my rocks on the crafting table and making a furnace to cook me dinner and settling down for my first night. The next morning my food situation was fine, but my conscience was telling me to try not to bludgeon to death the locals with dull weaponry any more than is absolutely necessary. So I set about collecting some wood to build an animal pen. The sound of leaves being destroyed around me for seemingly no reason at all brought back into question the taking, or lack thereof, of medication. Having completely deforested the peninsula upon which I live, I crafted some fences in what experts are saying is the slowest way in history. This all preceded me trying to figure out the dimensions of the animal pen, which is one of the most soul-destroying things ever witnessed, so you won't be seeing that. Having realised almost immediately after erecting the fence that I need wheat to coax the animals into it, I began furiously punching the grass in anger until I had a decent amount of seeds to plant a small crop of wheat. Looking at the advancement section to try and give me an idea of what to do while the wheat grew, I decided that the next logical thing to do would be to go in search of iron to protect and attack anything I please. Just beyond the newly established mass grave of pigs, I stumbled upon and nearly into a ravine, which actually seems to be a double ravine. Using an unprecedented amount of IQ just to figure out that I needed to stop pressing forward while continuing to press crouch, I managed to reach a band of iron. And then another one. And another. And another. Before finally coming to my senses and running away from the big scary hole of death and towards a nether thing with a chest, which apparently is a thing now. Look, I haven't played Minecraft since before the nether update, give me a break. Having been thoroughly impressed at the loot, particularly the enchanted gold sword, which, turns out, does 1 damage less than my unenchanted stone one, I went home. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this episode. Join me next episode, where we will continue to fear for our lives while performing basic, safe, mundane tasks just to fill in the time. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and feel free to subscribe. Apart from that, my name's been Simon and I'll see you guys in the next video.